Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Singapore Sevens. This one, South Africa versus Great Britain. Now, in this group, we have just seen Fiji get themselves a big win over the Spanish. So now the pressure is back on the Blitzboks to see if they can match it or maybe even top it before the two sides go head to head in a few hours. Time looking through the starting lineup. It is Ryan Oosterhuizen, Xander Reinders, Zane Davids, Donovan Don, Tristan Lades, Shilton Funvake, and also Ricardo James Duarte. For the GB team, it is Joshua Radcliffe, Finlay Lloyd Gilmore, Charlton Kerr, Tom Burden, Matt Davison, who I thought was thoroughly impressive in the last match up against the Fijians, Brett Jackson, and then also Callum Woolley, the last man in the side. Do, of course, let me know who you think will be winning this contest. I do feel like this Blitzboks side, when they play their best rugby sevens, they are very hard to beat. And I think we're going to see a lot of it throughout this competition as well. But Tristan Lades will be getting us underway from left to right in this fixture. Does kick it off nicely, taken on the 22 by Great Britain. Their best chance of winning this game is starting quickly, although already we see it turn into a rolling maul by the South African team. They drag it down there, ball is trapped in there, and already there is the turnover for the Blitzboks within 15 seconds. You can already see the frustration on the face of Brent Jackson. We have got Ollie, everyone, and also we have got there, let's go, says Sock, and everybody says Bruce. And out there as well, but 6.5 minutes still remaining in this first half. Of course, it will absolutely fly by like all these sevens games have. South Africa versus Fiji, that has taken place in around 3 hours, 20 minutes time. I can guarantee you that will be here in the very near future. Ricardo James Duarte going to the short side, the defending champs, the Blitzboks, winning that Cape Town Sevens just a few weeks ago. Left-hand side, Zane Davids goes to Xander Reinders. Bit of a rough pass there, but well handled by Tristan Lades. And in the corner, Donovan Don scores it. And that is exactly what this Blitzboks side can do. They are just lethal when you give them any sort of opportunity. And it all came from the early pressure in the contest, managing to get that rolling maul held up, keep that ball on their side, get the scrum going, and then the backline movement of beauty going out to Donovan Don, and just like in the Curry Cup, that man scores tries for fun on the 7 circuit too. And finishes it in the corner. Even through the tackle attempt of Callum Woolley. Going for the extra 2, and he's got it over from the sideline too from Ricardo James Duarte. Those extra 2 points could be absolutely crucial. We saw a lot of close games in the early stages of the Sevens competition, but 2 minutes in and 7-0 now for this Blitzboks side. Towards the sideline, kept in the field of play by Woolley. A little bit of a risk. It has worked out for now. And this Great British side, that's a bit of a back cruncher. Matt Davison got set up. Oh, this looks like Zane Davids has dislocated his shoulder, or he's done something terrible to that arm by the looks of it. He was trying to shake it out. Maybe a bit of a stinger there, Ryan Oosterhuizen, giving away the penalty advantage just like he normally does. Now looking for the passer behind. Charlton Kerr goes across there with the inside ball. Now another offload. Charlton Kerr looks like he's rocking something on his nose. Thought it was an eye patch to start with, but of course that would be on his eye. Now going off to the right-hand side. Foot race for the corner. Who will win it? Tristan Lades gets there. Offload on the inside. Try is scored by GB, and Joshua Radcliffe gets them straight back into the contest with the pressure now on the kick. But what has happened to Zane Davids' arm? I assume that he won't be continuing in this game unless he is just going to power through the pain. But it looked like in that tackle attempt, he's kind of dangling his arm down. Might be a dislocation, might be a stinger, but either way, they have just conceded, and that one probably stings that little bit more for the Blitzboks team in general. It's nicely done by GB. A good strike of the ball, and that kick's gone over from the sideline as well. A bit of a back and forth between these two sides in the early stages. 7 points each now on the board, and Zane got a bung arm. Yeah, I'm curious to know if he's continuing in this game or whether they've taken him off. It looks like he's going to continue, so must have just been a stinger. I know that sometimes if you get hit right up on that bit, it can hurt for a while, and then sometimes it just seems to come right, and it looks like he is just trying to play through that pain and wait for the feeling to come back. Tristan Lades, inside pass there to Ryan Oosterhuizen, and they are inside of their own 22 at the moment for this Blitzboks team. Passing on the outside, Xander Reinders. This is going to test him out, Zane Davids. He's dropped that ball. He actually had the drop ball in the first game as well. Right, it's going to be a scrum down here for GB, but the mistake made by Davids and the Rangers. He apologises for the passes. It was pretty far behind Zane. And of course, if he's got a sore shoulder, he doesn't really want to be reaching behind him. Yeah, he's not happy at the moment. He's looking over towards the bench, asking that question of whether or not he's going to get taken off. Great Britain have won just one of their 7 pool games this season against Spain in Dubai. It is the only game that they've been able to win. They were close in their last match up against the Fijians, but not quite enough points on the board for GB. Flat pass. That was a hard shot. Ryan Oosthuizen looking for the steal, loses his footing. So was going to get penalised. Nice step there from the youngster Burden. In fact, that would have been Lloyd Gilmore. Now, skip pass on the outside. That's left a massive gap. I'm not sure who that was. I think it was Donovan Don. Rushed up like a lunatic and ended up leaving that massive gap in behind. He was speedy there, Donovan Don, but speedy for all the wrong reasons. He went straight past the play. And Matt Davidson scores the try that gives Great Britain the lead. Where does he go here, Donovan Don? He was running past like he was late to work and he had to jog there, or at least sprint there, and the step from Davison getting back on the inside of Shilton van Wyk, who was on a hiding to nothing. He had 3 men that he had to try and tackle. This has been a good start to the match for Team GB. That kick has missed though, so both sides have got their hard kicks over, and the ones straight out in front seem like they're less likely to be going through. What a name, Donovan Don. Rolls off the tongue, that is for sure. Donovan Don will not be receiving this ball though. GB will, and it hasn't gone the 10 metres, so that is the last thing that they would have wanted, as it gives the Blitzboks an attacking chance from halfway with the 70 seconds remaining in the half. I will mention the next live stream that we are doing for the Sevens. It is taking place at 11:40 p.m. New Zealand time. That is between Australia and New Zealand. A bit of a trans-Tasman battle between those two sides to confirm who can still make their way through to the next stage of the competition. Ricardo James Duarte, he's going with the grubber in behind. There's a foot race that is being easily won by Tristan Lays. That was a cheat code type of move there from the Blitzboks, knowing that they were speedy and they would get right around that GB defence. It seemed a little bit too easy for South Africa there as well. I don't watch much Sevens. Who's the best team this year? At the moment, sitting at the top of the bunch is South Africa. Fiji are right up there, as they normally would be. Argentina last year were right up there, but this year they're actually sitting at about 5th or 6th in the overall rankings. I think 6th currently. So, yeah, they're probably not where you'd expect them to be, but yeah, between South Africa and Fiji at the moment, they are the top 2 sides. Are we good? We're not bad, New Zealand. They kind of rotate through being good and bad. They managed to somehow pull off the victory up against Argentina in their last contest, so they might still make it to the semi-finals, but it's been up and down. They've lost players like Leroy Carter, Caleb Tangitau, Cody Vai. Like, anytime you get a young, talented player in the 7 set up for New Zealand, they seem to lose them to Super Rugby. It was the holder of the Singapore Sevens. Last year, I believe Fiji beat Spain in the final, which doesn't look like it's going to be the final this time. That looked like a forward pass on the outside to Xander Reinders. That ball's going to be available, though, for South Africa to continue attacking. If they score now, it could be game over for GB. Past one more. Oosthuizen couldn't quite bring it in. And that is going to be the end of the half. 14 points to 12 in favour of South Africa. And the Sevens women, very good they are, yes. The women's Sevens for New Zealand and also Australia just kind of go back and forth in terms of who wins the title each week. I'm sure they've got a mutual agreement that just says, look, we'll both just go 50-50. And we have got there, did they score? They certainly did. So 14 points to 12 at the moment in favour of the Blitzboks. Donovan Don and Tristan Lades, the 2 try scorers for South Africa, and then Joshua Radcliffe and Matt Davison, the other 2 men who haven't managed to score anyone but South Africa. Sorry, Ruth, says Nazi Williams. And there as well. The second half of this contest getting very close. And this group is pretty close as well. We saw Fiji manage to get themselves the winner over Spain in their group stage fixture just before. In this one, we are going to get to see either South Africa continue that winning streak, or we will see Great Britain cause an upset and beat the Blitzboks side, which they were not expected to do. Whereas Agent Carter says, Sook, and there as well. Still plenty more live streams tonight. We've got another 5 taking place after, 5-4. I think it's 4 actually, taking place after this one, including Fiji versus South Africa, New Zealand versus Australia, and then the 2 games of the URC, Lions versus Bulls, as well as Stormers versus Sharks. So those are 2 pretty big games coming up later on in about 7 hours' time. Is Super Rugby the main thing for you? Or is something else bigger, says Highlanders fan? In terms of like for what I like watching or for the channel, Highlanders fan. Because international rugby, of course, is normally the pinnacle, whether that's Northern Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere stuff. I do thoroughly enjoy the July internationals as well as November, and now we've got a World Cup just around the corner too. Other streamers, says Highlanders fan. I think international rugby probably goes higher. In terms of like domestic competitions, I think the URC does better than Super Rugby for us, but Super Rugby's on at better hours of the day as well. So I normally try and split them relatively even. Now that one's going to be kicked off by GB, who's my best Springbok player. Ooh, best player for this team's actually very hard to judge, but you got to have someone like Ricardo James Duarte. He's been impressive throughout this game. I'd say Shilton Van Wyck's right up there. Donovan Don is too. And now the ball is in the hands of this Blitzboks team. Comes the run for Tristan Lades. Trying to roll forward, and that will be the penalty going the way of GB. 1 too many rolls coming from Tristan Lades there. Add an extra minute on the clock as well. How long does URC got left? It goes through to pretty much the end of Super Rugby as well. Both of them finish in June. It's a much longer season, though, as they're already about 8 rounds, about 10 rounds in. Push like and subscribe, peeps. Let's get this bloke to 100,000 subscribers. He really deserves it, says Nars Williams. How many Sevens tournaments are there? Says short videos. So this one is a part of the main Sevens. There's also the Championship, and there's also Sevens 3. But they normally have about 6 legs of the Sevens, I believe, throughout a year now. Going off to the left-hand side for Great Britain. A little bit of a juggle with the ball for Charlton Kerr. And that was a knock-on the ground in front of the referee. But it looks like it's going to be now play on. Big collision there around the halfway line. Ricardo James Duarte. He will just absolutely throw every inch that he can into these breakdowns looking for the steal. The hands went straight down that time, though, so he is going to get penalised for it. Now, stepping across on the short side. Another offload from GB. Oh, that was a rough pass there to one of the teammates. I think it was supposed to be a wide cutout pass, but it ended up going straight into the hands of the man right next to him. Shilton Van Wyk wins the penalty in the breakdown, and now taking the quick tap, looking to the short side, pops it on the inside. About halfway now. Oh, hand on the ball there for GB. They're told to get out of it. 5 minutes remaining, and Ricardo James Duarte, he's still thinking about that last breakdown and ends up dropping that ball cold. And that now means GB have the scrum. Do they got like double our teams? Double our teams. As in for the URC has 16 teams in the competition, although that sounds like it might be decreasing, but then going back up with what's happening with Welsh Rugby Union. Only 4 minutes remaining in this match now. He's my best Springbok player, says Mohadeen. So once again, you're probably looking at someone like a Donovan Don or a Shilton Van Wyk. Probably Shilton Van Wyk, though. If you're looking at a guy who can score tries for fun, he's certainly right up there. Now scrum for GB. We have 11, such an odd number. Yeah, the big benefit, though, of that is you do get a bye week, which is quite nice for the players. Have an extra week off. That's going to be a quick tap now taken by GB after they do win themselves the penalty at scrum time. That ill discipline of the box starting to creep in a little bit. Nice run from Charlton Kerr, but he ends up dropping the ball yet again. It must be getting slippery out there in Singapore because we're seeing quite a bit of drop ball throughout this game. Ricardo James Duarte makes sure he hung on to that one. Ball on the inside to Christy Robela. Made his way onto the field recently, leaving the feet there for GB. Just falling down a little bit too much for Finley Lloyd Gilmore. By weeks, suck for fans, says Highlanders. Never see Scotland and Wales in the Sevens. They used to be, but now it's gone to just Great Britain. So they all play for the same GB side, just like they do for the Olympics. But on the old school 16-team circuit, they did have Scotland, they had Wales, they had Ireland as well in there. Now Tristan Lades kicking this one towards the sideline. Hamish High Hall says Wild Lobster, welcome in. Plenty more coming up on the channel, including 2 more games of the Sevens and then 2 matches of the URC happening throughout the night as well. Yeah, be sure pop in for those ones. Ricardo James Duarte, another line-out throw. This one needs to be claimed by Xander Reinders and is. Now Tristan Lades, another pass across. This could be a massive chance. Nice step on the inside. Shilton. Funvike scores it between the posts. And that might just about do it here. A crucial try for the Blitzboks between the posts too. So an additional 2 points should be easily available. Just see that gap created there by Shilton Funvake. Was sideways movement initially and then just stepped back in dangerously. I watched the Landers preseason game yesterday. I did watch some of it. I haven't watched the full match as of yet though. I was good to see the Argentine play. Thomas Lavanini in there now, of course, for the Landers. We have got there Britannia. There's Gatsanel and also try. There's Wild Lobster in there too. But that kick has gone over. Straight out in front of the post for Ricardo James Duarte. We also see Saviwe Suez-Wapi has made his way onto the field at 33 years of age. 159 tries for that man throughout his career. Maybe you can add one more here too. Currently Great Britain, their best chance to be able to win this game is if they score right now. That one's going to be overcooked. Goes over the top of the GB player. Now back in the hands of the box. And you cannot afford to give this side possession at this stage of the contest. Saviwe Suez-Wapi. Ball on the inside. Goes to Ricardo James Duarte. Then Shilton Funvake to Krobala. Gets driven sideways. Quickly used again. Duarte. Pops it across to Oosterhuizen. Starting to lose ground a little bit here for the Blitzboks that they don't mind. Cross kick attempted there. Oh, it's gone over the head of Tristan Lace. Just knocks it on in the process. Looking forward to the Sharks beating the Stormers as a Glasgow fan. Says Kahu. And it's South Africa kicking all the kicks. They have got 3 from 3 so far. All of their tries have been relatively... Or in fact, no, that's a lie. The first one was a very tricky one for Ricardo James Duarte, but got it straight over. Ross McNaught, he's a bit of a bloody tank. Why is he only getting a few minutes at the end of the game? He's like a very solid individual. And see how this bloke Hamish rolls the R's. Champion Island names, South African names, etc. the name. Says Naz. Now line out throw here for Great Britain. They've got 2 minutes remaining, and just like what we saw in South Africa versus Spain, the Blitzboks managed to steal the ball again. A pass across. Going to pass it on the outside, feeding it back into Donovan Don. Another offload. Tristan Lades has a bit of a fumble with the ball, but he does manage to regather before does hit the turf. Now looking for the steal there was Charlton Kerr. Ball bounces back out the side. Blitzboks creating another attacking chance. Some brilliant stepping from the young man off of the bench. Now Donovan Don goes to Lades on the outside. Sekui. Now still moving cross field. Passes on the outside. Saviwe Suez-Wapi goes to Ryan Oosterhuizen. And he will score another one. The referee wants to check this, but I'm pretty sure that grounding was good. And it should be another try for South Africa. Starting to really extend their lead now. Lamape back in Super. All Blacks second 5-8. And said the problem fixed Sesok. And also, it's been a while since I followed Sevens. What happened to USA, Canada, Scotland, and Ireland, etc.? Well, that's a good question. So pretty much what happened is World Rugby, they sat down in a boardroom and they said, how can we ruin Sevens? And they said, you know what? We'll go down to 8 teams. So with that kicked Canada, that kicked USA, that kicked Ireland out of the main circuit. Scotland have been out for a while as they've been a part of Great Britain. Ireland from then, after being told you're in Division 2, cancelled their Sevens setup. It's no longer a thing, Irish Sevens. USA are in Division 2. Canada are in Division 3. They beat Hong Kong recently, which confirmed them a spot through to Division 2 or the Championship. It's all very confusing. But it all came down to World Rugby saying, how can we make this more confusing than it needs to be? And that's what happened. Yeah, you think Lamapi got a chance? Do you know that Northern Ireland uses England national anthem? I did not know that, no. I know that for Ireland rugby, they use the rugby anthem rather than the Irish national anthem. Why is the Lions fielding an understrength team against the Bulls? Says Kahu. Who would you say is the understrength part of it? Well, that sucks. Only 8 teams now. That sucks. Yeah, because people love the upsets, seeing underdog sides go on and get wins against the top teams. Like, it's just what Sevens was about, but now it's about trying to find a way of making money, but they're also kind of cutting out their own markets. That's a great run down the wing, and that will be another try. That is Sebastian Yop, who has scored that one, and South Africa have made relatively light work of GB throughout the second half, making it a one-sided affair, and now the next game, South Africa versus Fiji, that will determine who finishes top of their group. So that could be a very interesting watch. But that is coming up around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. We will be covering it on the channel. What's the score at the moment? It's 33-12 with the kick to come. And why is Sasha the captain? He has been given the role once again. Obviously, they want to keep him in that captaincy role. But now, Tristan Lades does miss it away to the left-hand side, but that will be the end of this contest. Now, I will mention that Fiji versus South Africa game is kicking off at what will be 1:46 in South Africa. That is this afternoon, so happening in about 3 hours' time, almost exactly 3 hours' time from now. Alongside that, we're also going to be covering that game between Australia and New Zealand. That is at 11:40, so be sure to stick around for that one too. How's it going, Hamish? So grateful for the Kiwi lad stuck in hospital for gallbladder op and still up to date with the rugby. Yeah, so hopefully it all goes smoothly for you, Richard. It's greatly appreciated you being here, and we've got plenty more coming tonight or today, depending on the timing. But yeah, we've got the matches of the Sevens, and then we've also got the URC, 2 derbies, Lions versus Bulls, and also Sharks versus Stormers coming up. Can you commentate Waratahs versus Brumbies? I'm not actually sure where to watch that game, which is one of the biggest problems. We're trying to do the preseason stuff. And hi, says Chad there too. I'm glad we didn't have to face the South African, says Katzenell. Yeah, it doesn't look likely for Argentina at the moment, unless they get a big win over France. That might sneak them through, but then Australia would also need the win for that to be able to take place. But what we will do is we will go fixtures. We will go Singapore, and we will go to the pools. What do we got here so far? At the moment, South Africa, with that win, managing to win it comfortably as well, they will move up into first place. So them and Fiji are now secured through to the next stage. On the other side of the draw, France are on 6, New Zealand are on 4, Australia are on 3, Argentina are on 2. So that actually means Argentina can't actually go through, I don't think. So yeah, their chances are actually gone now. Well, the Boomers, what's the next game you're doing? The next game I am doing is at 11:40 p.m. New Zealand time, and that is between New Zealand and Australia. Then the game after that will be Fiji versus South Africa, and then the 2 games of the URC following that. And then tomorrow's games are 7s, the semi-finals, final, everything along those lines. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in about 2 hours' time for the next stream.